Ever wondered what happens when engineers let their imaginations run wild? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into the world of automotive oddities. These aren't your run-of-the-mill V8s or inline-fours. We're talking about engines so strange, you'll wonder how they ever made it off the drawing board. Let's start our countdown with number 10, the Flat 12 engine. Picture a regular V12, now squash it flat like a pancake. That's basically what Ferrari did with the Testarossa and 512BB. This weird layout gives the car an incredibly low center of gravity, perfect for hugging those tight corners. But here's the kicker. It's so wide, designers practically need to build the car around it. The Flat 12's unique shape allows for a lower hood line, improving aerodynamics and giving these Ferraris their distinctive wedge shape. However, this layout comes with its own set of challenges. The engine's width makes it difficult to access for maintenance, and its complexity often results in higher production costs. Moving on to number 9, we've got the VR5 engine. Volkswagen decided that 4 cylinders were too few and 6 were too many, so they split the difference. But instead of lining up 5 cylinders in a row, they crammed them into a V-shape so tight it's almost straight. The result? An engine that sounds like nothing else on the road and fits in spaces where it has no business being. The VR5's narrow 15-degree angle between cylinder banks allows it to be nearly as compact as an inline-four while offering the power advantage of an extra cylinder. This innovative design allowed Volkswagen to offer more power in models like the Golf and Passat without major redesigns to accommodate larger engines. The odd number of cylinders also gives the VR5 a distinctive, almost musical exhaust note that sets it apart from more common 4- and 6-cylinder configurations. At number 8, we've got the V4 engine. Now you might be thinking, what's so weird about that? Well, unlike its more common cousins, the inline-4 and V6, the V4 is the automotive equivalent of a platypus. It's compact like an inline-4 but complex like a V6. Companies like Ford and Saab gave it a shot, but it never quite caught on. The V4's main advantage is its short length, which allows for better weight distribution and potentially more cabin space. However, this comes at the cost of increased complexity and often a less smooth operation compared to an inline-4. The Ford Taunus and Saab 96 were notable models that used this quirky configuration. Despite its limited success in cars, the V4 layout found a niche in motorcycles, where its compact size and unique power delivery characteristics are sometimes preferred. Lucky number 7 is the Chrysler Turbine engine. Back in the 60s, Chrysler thought, hey, why not stick a jet engine in a car? The result was a vehicle that could run on anything from gasoline to tequila. But don't get too excited. It turned out that most people prefer their margaritas in a glass, not a gas tank. The Chrysler Turbine car was a leap into the future that didn't quite stick the landing. Its engine had far fewer moving parts than a piston engine, promising greater reliability and smoother operation. It could run on a variety of fuels, including diesel, kerosene, and even perfume. However, the turbine's high fuel consumption at idle, delayed throttle response, and the jet-like whine it produced ultimately made it impractical for mass production. Despite this, the turbine car remains a fascinating what-if in automotive history. Halfway through our list at number 6, we've got the opposed piston engine. Imagine 2 pistons in each cylinder moving towards each other like they're playing an eternal game of chicken. It's efficient, sure, but so complex that most engineers take one look and decide to stick with something simpler. This design eliminates the need for cylinder heads, potentially reducing heat loss and improving thermal efficiency. Companies like Acadi's Power have been working to bring this concept to modern heavy-duty applications, claiming significant improvements in fuel efficiency and emissions. The opposed piston layout also allows for a more compact engine design, which could be beneficial for packaging in vehicles. However, the complexity of the design, with its multiple crankshafts and intricate port timing, has limited its widespread adoption in the automotive world. Number 5 on our list is the H16 engine. If you thought a regular V8 was complicated, try doubling it and stacking the halves. That's essentially what BRM did for their Formula One car. It was so complex and heavy that it spent more time in the pits than on the track. The H16 is essentially 2 flat 8 engines stacked on top of each other, sharing a common crankshaft. In theory, this layout should provide perfect primary and secondary balance, resulting in extremely smooth operation. It also allows for a very low center of gravity, which is crucial in racing applications. However, the sheer number of moving parts makes the H16 a nightmare for reliability and maintenance. The BRM P83, which used this engine in the 1966 Formula One season, showcased both the potential and the pitfalls of this extreme design. Despite its lackluster performance on the track, The H16 remains a testament to the audacious spirit of motorsport engineering. At number 4, we have the Napier Deltic opposed piston engine. This thing looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Picture 3 banks of cylinders arranged in a triangle, with pistons moving back and forth like a crazy game of 3D Pong. It's so complicated that even most engineers scratch their heads trying to figure out how it works. The Deltic engine, named for its resemblance to the Greek letter delta, was primarily used in marine and rail applications rather than cars. Its unique design allowed for an incredibly high power-to-weight ratio, making it ideal for fast patrol boats and locomotives. Each of its 3 banks of cylinders contains opposed pistons, eliminating the need for cylinder heads and allowing for 2-stroke operation. The Deltic's complexity is mind-boggling, with 3 crankshafts geared together and a firing order that looks more like advanced calculus than an engine diagram. While it never found its way into road cars, the Deltic engine remains one of the most fascinating and unconventional designs in internal combustion history. Bronze medal goes to the Radial Engine at number 3. These were all the rage in aircraft, with cylinders arranged in a circle like a star. A few brave souls tried to stick them in cars, but it turns out that an engine shaped like a giant fan isn't the most practical for road use. Radial engines were prized in aviation for their high power-to-weight ratio and air cooling capabilities. In a radial engine, the cylinders are positioned like spokes around a central crankshaft, creating a compact package that's perfect for the nose of an airplane. However, this circular arrangement poses significant challenges for automotive use. The width of the engine makes it difficult to fit under a car's hood, and its rotating mass can create gyroscopic effects that impact handling. Despite these drawbacks, some early automotive pioneers experimented with radial engines in cars. The French manufacturer Panhard even produced a few radial engine cars in the early 20th century. Today, radial engines in cars are mostly limited to custom builds and novelty projects, serving as a reminder of the diverse paths automotive technology has explored. Our runner-up at number 2 is the V16 engine. It's the engine equivalent of wearing a gold-plated tuxedo to a black tie event, completely over the top, but you can't help but admire it. Cadillac, Bugatti, and Rolls-Royce have all flirted with this behemoth. It's smooth, powerful, and about as practical as using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The V16 configuration is essentially 2 V8 engines sharing a common crankshaft. This layout provides incredible smoothness and power delivery, as there's a power stroke occurring at almost every crankshaft rotation. Cadillac's V16, introduced in 1930, was a marvel of engineering for its time, producing an impressive 165 horsepower and setting new standards for luxury car performance. In modern times, the Bugatti Veyron's quad-turbocharged W16 engine showcases the configuration's potential for extreme performance, producing over 1,000 horsepower. However, the complexity, weight, and fuel consumption of V16 engines make them impractical for all but the most exclusive and expensive vehicles. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the weirdest engine of them all, sitting proudly at number 1, the Wanko Rotary engine. Forget everything you know about how engines work, because the rotary throws it all out the window. Instead of pistons pumping up and down, you've got a triangle spinning around like it's at a never-ending disco party. Mazda loved these things so much they built their entire sports car lineup around them. The rotary engine is powerful, smooth, and can rev higher than your typical piston engine. But it's also thirsty enough to drink a small oil well dry and has a lifespan shorter than a mayfly. It's the James Dean of engines, living fast, dying young, and leaving a beautiful corpse. The Wanko's design is deceptively simple. A triangular rotor spins within an oval-shaped housing, creating 3 combustion chambers that continuously rotate through the 4 stages of intake, compression, combustion, and exhaust. This design allows for incredibly high RPMs and a power-to-weight ratio that traditional piston engines struggle to match. Mazda's RX-7 and RX-8 sports cars showcase the rotary's potential, offering exhilarating performance in a compact package. However, the rotary's Achilles heel lies in its sealing. The apex seals at the corners of the rotor are subject to intense wear, leading to decreased compression and increased oil consumption over time. Despite these challenges, the rotary engine maintains a devoted following, and Mazda continues to research ways to bring this unique power plant into the modern emissions-conscious era. So there you have it, the 10 weirdest engines you won't believe exist. From pancake flat 12 cylinders to spinning triangles, these power plants prove that in the world of engines, sometimes the strangest ideas are the most fascinating.